Kia ora, good evening. Fonterra has had to dump 150,000 litres of milk due to a number of tankers being potentially contaminated with mud and gravel. The contamination occurred at Fonterra's Hawara plant last Friday when a contractor's tanker came in for cleaning with 1 to 2 kilos of mud and gravel inside. The material found its way into the plant's cleaning system, which reuses water and detergent for multiple vehicles. 14 other tankers were then cleaned with potentially contaminated water before an automated system raised the alarm 44 minutes later. Fonterra says it doesn't yet know where the mud and dirt originally came from. An investigation is underway. Meanwhile, the latest scare for Fonterra comes after an independent inquiry report was critical of the company's handling of August's botulism scare. The independent inquiry has released shortcomings in a number of areas and has 33 recommendations to improve the dairy giant's food safety processes. Contractual requirements by at least one customer were not being met, with Fonterra not routinely completing sulphite-reducing Clostridia tests on whey concentrate. The review also found Fonterra's botulism testing was inadequate, as was crisis management systems and external communications. Although the botulism scare proved a false alarm, its damage to confidence in New Zealand's dairy products could lead to costly litigation, with at least one French company reportedly considering suing Fonterra for loss of sales. Patchy economic recovery is behind the Reserve Bank's decision to leave the official cash rate unchanged at 2.5%. Reserve Bank Governor Graham Wheeler says global long-term interest rates are still very low but have been volatile recently. The New Zealand economy is estimated to have grown more than 3% in the year to September. Household spending is rising with broader construction activity in Auckland, as well as the reconstruction in Canterbury. Across the country, 1,860 new dwellings were consented in September, with Auckland and Canterbury accounting for 58% of the total. Canterbury recorded the largest number of consents issued for new dwellings since records began in April '76, with a total of 599 new dwellings consented. Statistics New Zealand says the total value of building work consented for the September 23rd quarter was $3.2 billion. This includes the highest ever value for residential building work at $2.1 billion. The success of Southland's Supreme Business of the Year continues, with EIS receiving government funding to research and develop a robot to remove aluminium from carbon blocks after smelting. The $650,000 grant towards the $2 million export project is thought to be the largest investment ever in Southland for R&D. CEO Dean Addy says the project was first touted a few years ago after identifying a need for robotic cleaning within aluminium smelters internationally.
Well, of course, it's quite secretive, but what it is going to do is it's going to clean some pockets in the actual carbon anodes where the white cryolite gathers, and it's a bit of a problem for the atmosphere. So we want to get as much of that out as possible, and currently it's done by humans, and humans are getting hurt doing it. So globally, it's a big issue.
So will there be other efficiencies that will come out of having a robotic system?
Yeah, sure. Well, currently people only clean their butts, which is what these blocks are called. They only clean them about 12 hours a day. So we can do this 24/7. So we can actually make the product cleaner because they recycle the product. They're very conscious of the environment, so they like to clean as much of the product as possible. And of course, if we can do it 24/7, then we can take more of the dirty stuff out.
And there's health and safety benefits, obviously.
Well, huge health and safety benefits because currently it's men on jackhammers that are doing the job.
So there's an international market for this. Once you have designed this cleaning robot, they'll be able to be exported. That's part of the criteria for getting the funding for this.
That's a massive part of the criteria. Callaghan Innovations only fund companies that are able to provide export dollars for New Zealand. So we've done a study of the smelters in the world. There's roughly 200 smelters in the world, about 100 in China, and all smelters have this issue. So it's a big issue.
So the intellectual property for this product is retained here?
The EIS retains all the IP that's associated with this project, and that was another criteria from Callaghan, is that the IP stays in New Zealand.
Do you have any idea of the potential financial benefit for the province creating these here?
Yeah, look, we plan to build all of these robots or all of these machines in Invercargill, is the plan in South, with Southland companies, Southland mechanical companies, electrical companies, and then send them away and hopefully install them over there as well. So it's going to be a huge benefit for New Zealand for sure, and for Southland particularly.
So you're hoping to have the first product out by June. Once that initial product's on the market, how often do you think you'll be producing these?
Look, our projections are to have the R&D project finished by June, which means we'll have a marketable product. We'll have the risk down to about 99% sure. So then we'll have to start building products and manufacturing products and globally marketing the product. We think that we can easily sell one a year, but we think at least it'll be more than that. So it's quite a good return.
Stay with us. Coming up after the break, an ambitious monorail proposal takes another step towards approval. Welcome back. The number of businesses in New Zealand is down slightly according to data from the latest census. Statistics New Zealand reported 472,600 businesses in February 2013, down 0.2% on 2012, with the strongest business growth in Auckland. In 2013, new business startups fell 5.2% from 2012, with closures exceeding startups for the fourth year in a row. In the positive column, the number of employees increased in 12 of the 19 industries Statistics New Zealand monitors. The Department of Conservation has recommended developers of a proposed $200 million monorail venture in Fiordland be given the green light. The Fiordland Link experience, a journey using a catamaran, all-terrain vehicle and ending with the world's longest monorail between Queenstown and Te Anau Downs. The proposed Fiordland Link monorail is 41 kilometres long and would travel through a 6-metre wide corridor. Minister of Conservation Dr Nick Smith has released reports from DOC and the Hearing Commissioner that suggest applicants Riverstone Holdings Limited be granted provisional permission in a bid to remain open about advice and issues to be considered. The Minister intends to discuss the proposal with the New Zealand Conservation Authority and consider further advice from DOC on the World Heritage status of the area before making a final decision. The ambitious Fiordland Link project could potentially make travel easier for the millions who visit Milford Sound each year from Queenstown. Terry Maloney hit the streets of Invercargill today to ask locals for their thoughts on the controversial project.
I think it's very good. I think it's great for Southland. They have these rails overseas, and I think it's fantastic, personally myself.
I support it as well because I think it would save a lot of time for tourists. I mean, to say they come down usually in a group and it's sort of look here, look there, and by the time, if they started in Auckland, by the time they come down to Fiordland there, yeah, and I think the monorail would be absolutely marvellous.
Sucks. Leave it. Shouldn't be there.
Okay, so
leave it in natural state. That's for you want to go there, walk there.
Taking away any dock land is always going to be worse for us in the long run. I mean, a monorail. Well, we've got cars. We don't need this monorail to ruin our community, our forestry and our native land. I reckon that's ridiculous, really.
I would hope that there'd be more, just not the monorail, but because that really would be tourists. If they're going to do that, they need to do a road as well, I think.
Okay. So do you agree with having a monorail running into Fiordland?
Not really. I think that road proposal that did the West Coast through would have been a better idea. That's what I would have liked to see.
I'm actually for the monorail. I know that a lot of Te Anau people and people around that area aren't happy about it, but anything that brings more tourists into Southland's got to be better, and it's good for people that perhaps aren't into tramping and hiking. They can actually get in and see that part of the country, whereas they normally wouldn't be able to. So I'm personally for it.
I don't really like the idea at all. I think it should be kept the way it is.
So you don't like a monorail running through there?
No, I don't. No, it's going to be bad for Te Anau as well. So I don't like the proposal at all.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
So you agree with the idea of the monorail running through to Te Anau?
Yes, yeah.
What do you think of the fact that DOC have come and supported, added their weight to it?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to be doing.
The Clifton Suspension Bridge is set to reopen to the public next week after being closed for more than 3 years. The bridge is New Zealand's longest wooden suspension bridge and spans the Waiau River near Tuatapere. Built in 1899, it's also one of the oldest remaining wooden bridges, with the restoration work costing around $470,000, funded by the New Zealand Historic Places Trust and public donations. The structure was registered as a Category 1 historic place in 1990 and was closed in 2010 due to safety concerns. Following the success of the inaugural Youth Council Spirit Awards last year, the Southland District Council is once again calling for nominations to formally recognise young people from rural communities who make a positive impact in their surrounding area. Entry forms will be handed out in schools shortly, and this year the Youth Council have extended nomination criteria.
It was a project that somebody from the Youth Council last year came forward with, and it just because of the success from last year we decided, look, it would be a good one to really build on and give other people who are perhaps not even aware of the work of the Youth Council an opportunity to find out what the Youth Council does and really promote the work of the Youth Council, and also then recognise the hard work of somebody out in the district working tirelessly for their community.
So what age group is this open for?
It's open for year 11, 12 and 13. Last year it was only open to year 12 and 13, but the Youth Council this year decided to open it that little bit wider and give younger students the opportunity to be nominated for the award.
So what's involved in the nomination process?
So the Youth Council representatives have brought nomination forms back to their schools, and anybody can nominate a student for the award. It could be a teacher or a principal, or just basically a friend of somebody who feels that the student is deserving of the award. They fill out the form and give a bit of detail about the students' extracurricular activities and their involvement in the community, and basically then get the nomination form back to us before the 29th of November, and we'll take it from there.
Can you give us some examples of what other students have been nominated for in the past year?
So a lot of it has been revolving around their community work with charities, but it also would involve their it would be like sports and music and different things, just any kind of activities that enrich the community that they participate in on a voluntary basis. And the winner from last year, Lydia Casey from Central Southland College in Winton, she had a variety of things that she was involved in, such as basketball and then the local musical society in the school. And then there was a number of charities she was involved in, such as Orphans Aid and a fundraiser for the Christchurch earthquake.
And what sort of reward do the nominate, or the winner, does the winner get?
So they get a plaque from Southland District Council. So Lydia had it for this year, and it'll continue then on to the student who gets it this year, and a cheque for a small sum of money.
And that's it from the news desk. Coming up on sport, more from the Highlanders press conference on the freshly announced squad. From us, good night.